Okay, so here we are looking at my 2013 Harley Davidson switchback, and I'm doing a couple of mods here, and I wanted to talk about it to help other people out. I'm getting the bike for a road trip, and I needed to mount GPS on the bike and a power supply on the bike also. So I got this black mount off of eBay. Nothing major. It's for my Garmin GPS. It's simply, you know, as you can see, it's a two-piece deal. It screws onto the handlebar, and then the Garmin just snaps right on there. But when I was doing this project, I was kind of confused on how I was going to go about running the power for the actual unit. I wanted a plug-and-play option. When I asked people, you know, if there was a place to plug in, you know, one of these power ports, some people said, "Oh no, there's nothing on these switchbacks that'll do that." And talked to the guys to the dealership, and the guys at the dealership said, "Oh yeah, it's all plug and play. There's a plug underneath the seat." And I looked all up underneath there, couldn't find it. And then I was just all confused because the plug off of these is actually a 6-prong plug. So I thought, well, you know, I'll get an aftermarket, you know, power port, and Harley sells one that mounts inside the saddlebags and you plug it into the battery tender. And I actually did buy one of those, but then I gave it a, you know, second thought. I'm like, you know, that defeats the purpose of the switchback. I mean, the whole idea of the switchback is to be able to take the bags and the windshield off. Well, if you mount your power port in the bag and then you want to take your bags off, and well, now you got no power for your cell phone or your GPS. So I did some research and looked around, and I found that underneath the left side electrical panel is this gray plug. And it'll have a rubber boot on the top of it. And I can't remember off the top of my head what Harley Davidson actually calls that plug. I want to say like a data communication port or something like that. But, you know, it's got 6 prongs. You know, it's a 6-prong plug. And then the power port has a 6-prong plug, but of course, you know, it's only a 2-wire deal, and I don't know how they, you know, did it, but there it is. You know, you buy the power port for the handlebar mount. These are not cheap. I think I paid $89 for this one. And you simply run the wires back, down, underneath the gas tank. And all this is relatively easy until you get to this spot here. It's kind of a pain to get the wire up in there to come in on the inside to plug in. No, I'm not totally done with this yet. You know, I got to wire tie this stuff up here, you know, but that isn't going to be nothing major. But what you guys are going to need to do are, these are T40 bolts. And in order to get this wire, this big plug snaked up through there, you're going to have to loosen these bolts and then take this black case and just push it down a little bit. Run your plug through till you get it into this area. And then it's just all gravy. It just goes right in the back side, plugs into the plug. But it does work, you know, as it's, you know, designed to. You put the, I'll do this right quick here for you. Plug the unit in. and then everything will work off of your switch. You turn your ignition switch on, and as you can see, I got power, which is what you want. When you turn the bike off, no power. Go to your accessory, green light, power. And that's the way I wanted it, you know. That way, you know, when I walk away from the bike, I turn the bike off, I know the power's off. So this is something that can be done. There is a plug and play option. Don't let it throw you for a loop like it did me. It took me a couple weeks to get it all figured out. But there we are. On that 12 volt power port. Let me get you guys some numbers here. Right there is what the box looks like. Handlebar mount, 12 volt power port, gloss black, and this is a Harley Davidson item. This here's the part number on the box, 692000970. Power port for either 1-inch or 7/8 inch bars. There's some more numbers if you guys like looking at numbers. So, you know, that's pretty straightforward, which is the way I like it. Also, let's talk about the hand grips I put on. As you can see, I'm running a breakaway cruise control. Now, this is an older style breakaway. I forget the model number on that, but these things here take up a lot of real estate. And with my hands being the size that they are, you all know that the original Harley Davidson hand grips are only 5 inches long. So I looked around, trying to find a longer handle grip. That way, you know, while I'm cruising, my hand ain't all crammed up here, and then the palm of my hand, you know, falling off the end of the grip. Now these handle grips here, made by Avion, they're not as long as I really would like them to be. They're kind of pricey. I think I paid 80 some bucks for these also. But they do give you another 1/4 inch or so. And I can live with this. Right now the edge of my palm is on the, you know, just inside the end of the handlebar, and you can see I got a little bit of room there. And that's what I want. Before I was doing one of these numbers, trying to keep my whole hand on the handlebar. Let me get you some part numbers for that. Avion grips and pegs, made in the USA, which is the way I like it. 42025. Now, on the instructions they say, you know, to put some Gorilla Glue on here. Well, yeah, you know, you don't need to do that. I'm not sure how they got this dealio here, but, you know, on the end of these, when you push these all the way up, it's almost like they lock on the inside of the bar on the end. But then you'll get just a little bit of play up here at the top. So instead of doing all the Gorilla Glue stuff, you know, on my bike, I just took some electrical tape on the handlebar, went 1.5 turns, slide the grip up there, worked her up there, you know, give her a little goose, made sure she was there good, buttoned everything back up, and it works out extremely well. Now, I'm not going to get into all about taking off the switch covers and everything. There's plenty of other videos on there for that. I'm just letting you guys know that you can put a longer grip on your switchback, and they work out good. For those of you who are trying to find some more real estate, you know, on your throttle hand for whatever kind of a rig you got going on over there. Also, another mod that I did, you know, impulse buy. They had these sets on eBay, you know, you get a clock and a thermometer and they bolt right onto the windshield. Well, yep, that's true. They do. There they are. But, you know, with the rake that's on the forks, on the switchback, you know, the windshield, you know, sits at an angle. And therefore, when you mount these dealios on the windshield, they're tipped back. Can you see them when you're sitting on the bike? Yeah, you can see them, but, you know, if I had it to do all over again, I probably would not have bought these, you know, simply because they tip back, and it's, you know, kind of, you know, to me it just wasn't worth the money I spent for them. Also, if you guys do decide to put these on your project, when you do these, you know, you got these beauty nuts. I'm not even sure the correct name for these, but you'll have to flip these inside out. There's just not enough room when you look at how deep these mounts are. This here is just a little bezel, and it just pops out. And then you put the bolt in and bolt this bracket onto the windshield frame, and then these just push back in. But these bolts, these nuts here, are too long. They won't allow you to fit this on, so you got to reverse these end bolts here on your windshield. You know, normally the bolts go like this. But when you mount the dealio, you got to flip them so you got room. That doesn't bother me. I don't mind it, you know, that looking like that. The only thing that bugs me is that, you know, when you look at the bike, you can see that everything's on a rake back, and so, you know, your thermometer and your clock is kind of looking down at the bike instead of looking up at the rider. So maybe you want to do them on your project, maybe you don't. To each his own. Let's see what. Oh yes, let's talk about the flagpole. For those of you who have been following my flagpole mount that I did on my sissy bar, this here is the flagpole I went with. Now, what we have here is a hardwood dowel rod. It is 1.5 inches in diameter. It is 48 inches long. And I went down to our local lumber yard, and I thought maybe they'd turn me one up or whatever they do. I'm not a wood guy, you know. But no, they just ordered something, and, you know, come to find out you can get these off of eBay also. You know, they're just 2 dowel rods. They come in a package of 2, I guess. You know. But all I did is you'll need to sand them. They weren't as smooth as I'd like them when they come out of the package, so I just sanded them down with 180 grit. Got it to where I wanted it. Put 2 coats of Minwax dark oak stain. You know, that's just what I had laying around from a project in my den, and so that's what I used on my flagpole. It's an oil-based stain, what I got going on here, and then I'm going over top of it with this spar urethane. This makes it shiny, clear gloss, which I like shiny things sometimes, and I want my flagpole to be shiny, so right now I've got 3 coats of it. Just sprayed it on, just like, you know, regular spray painting, no big deal there. And you know, we'll get the hardware put on this when this gets dry. Basically, I went from the top of the pole down 2 inches, blew a hole through it, 1/4 inch hole, and I'm going to run a 1/4 inch stainless steel eye bolt, you know, through there. And then I will mount, you know, the flag onto that hardware there. I'll get you guys some shots going on with that when I get all that done. Measure down to where you figure the bottom hole should be, blow it another hole through it, you know, 1/4 inch. And you're in like Flynn. So this is where we are on my projects, on my bike. Everything is going along good. Nothing major. So maybe this will help other people out if they decide to do something similar on their projects. Well, I know I'm being long-winded here, so let you guys go. And as always, have a nice day.